Breaking news with Based and Bougie. Guys, this probably has to be the most chilling, the most heartbreaking, the most tragic, and the most terrifying story I've probably ever seen in my life. Let's get into it, guys. So you guys have probably all seen the story online. It's all over X. Mainstream media hasn't reported on it. Instagram, you haven't seen anything because X is the only proper free speech platform. This is where most of us have been aware of the story. Basically, a 23-year-old woman who was actually a Ukrainian refugee. Her name was Zaratuska. Now I'm gonna show you the actual footage and walk through it with you guys. This man is sitting on the train. He looks perfectly normal, especially to someone who just wants to get home. You probably wouldn't even think anything of him. And then what happens is a young lady who's the Ukrainian refugee called Zarutska. She walks into the train. She's clearly in her work uniform. She was probably getting ready to just go home, charge her phone, watch movies, get ready for the next day, and just prepare for the rest of her life and save for the rest of her life. Little did she know that this would be her last day. That train would be the last thing she would see. Now, what happened is, as she sits down, this man called the Carlos Brown, okay, looks at this woman. Not even 1 minute, I don't think even 30 seconds even went by. This guy pulls out a flip knife, I think that's what you call it, and just slaughters this woman there and then for no reason. There's no reason behind this. I don't think he knows the girl. I don't think the girl knows him. He doesn't even look like someone that was stalking this woman. This girl doesn't look like someone who would be in a relationship with this guy. He doesn't look like he will be in a relationship with her. Again, she was a refugee, so she's just new to this country. They have zero to no connection, and this guy just slaughtered her in the throat. Guys, I felt sick to my stomach. Like, even when you just look at the image, the way his hand is raised up, you just know that he done damage. There was no chance. There was no chance. And what's so heartbreaking about this, I even have goosebumps speaking about this, is that imagine dying in a way where you're just not even prepared for it. Like, she wasn't even prepared. The guy couldn't even face her head on. The guy couldn't even tell her, give me your last words. She was on her phone. She had no chance. She couldn't even see it coming. And he just took her life so senselessly, so tragically, so. Oh, guys, I have goosebumps talking about it. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this is for two reasons. The first reason is because scripture does say that in the end days we will see very unusual and mysterious things. And this is it. This is the unusual and mysterious things that the Bible was referring to when they said that these will be the signs of the end times. Because this man, let me tell you something, that wasn't a human being, that was a demon. That was a demon living through him, because only a demon. Okay, one thing that God blessed us with is morality, the ability to know the difference between right and wrong, the ability to have a conscience, the ability to plan ahead and to know, okay, if I do this, there's going to be consequences. That guy didn't have any of that. He didn't have a conscience. So he was possessed by a demon when he did that. He was possessed by the devil when he did that. This is the signs of the end times. I even remember seeing a video of a woman. She literally just threw her baby and she started fighting another woman, a baby, an itty bitty baby. She just threw the baby, dashed the baby like it was a doll, just to fight someone. The second reason why I wanted to speak about this is because the reason why situations like this are happening is because our society keeps ignoring mental illness. That's the problem we're having in our society. We keep ignoring mental illness, whether it's transgenderism, whether it's LGBTQism, whether it's even just the leftists. Okay, we have real life people with real life mental illnesses, and what has happened is we continue to ignore them. We're not treating them like they actually deserve to be in an asylum. And what's happening is people who actually are mentally ill are allowed to walk the streets free. Whether it's the terrorists, whether it's the thugs like this guy, whether it's the transgenders who are going around and assaulting children in bathrooms, whether it's the gay couples who are molesting children. I'm not sure if you guys seen a gay couple. They let me show you the article. They basically molested the child to death, an adopted child to death. Mental. We are have like we've normalized mentalness. Rather than putting these mental people in mental asylums, we are allowing them to walk the streets free. Now, in this case, the reason why he was allowed to walk the streets free is because Black Lives Matter. That's why. Black Lives Matter. Now, I actually looked into this guy, and this guy went to jail 14 times. He has 14 mug shots. Why is a guy who needs to go to jail more than twice allowed to roam the streets? Why? Why? At the third time, he should have been dashed in jail for good. But no, they allow this man to go in and out of jail 14 times. What? This is someone who is not well. But rather than actually treating this man like he is not well and putting him in a mental asylum or putting him in jail, no, Black Lives Matter. So let's just release this guy all in the name of equality. No, we need to stop this. We need to stop this. Every time I look on the news, I see craziness. I see cases that make zero to no sense. And when I try to trace the reason behind it, they always have a mental issue. When I see a child was murdered, was sexually assaulted in the bathroom, what happens? Oh, the man is transgender. When I see an adopted child has died, oh wait, the parents were gay. When I see a school has been shut up or three children were slaughtered in the school, oh wait, the person was a terrorist. We are not treating people like what they actually are. And I blame this on this whole Human Rights Act. Okay, I feel like the Human Rights Act, it really destroyed our safety, if that makes sense. Because what the Equality Act and the Human Rights Act did is that it basically tried to convince the world that everybody is equal and therefore everybody needs to be treated the same. And that shouldn't be the case. If you're a murderer, you need to be outcasted from society. If you are a terrorist, you need to be outcasted from society. If you are transgender, you need to be outcasted. But we're not treating people like this. And this is why we see cases like this. My heart is broken for this girl. My heart is broken for the family members. So, guys, as I'm editing and doing more research, it's come out that the woman who was slaughtered actually had a Black Lives Matter banner in her bedroom. And this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say this is the problem of society. We are so consumed with BLM. We are so consumed with racism. We are so consumed with white supremacy and human rights and equal rights and race this and equality this and racism this, that we no longer treat criminals like they're actual criminals. And this was what has happened post BLM, okay? Someone like George Floyd, who shook up the whole world and was an actual criminal, rather than us treating him like what he exactly was, we decided to parade this man. And this is why this man who slaughtered this young Ukrainian woman was allowed to come out of jail 14 times. 14 times, guys. Why? Because we've created a society where we no longer treat criminals like they're actual criminals. And it's almost heartbreaking and tragic that she almost supported a movement that led to her demise. Because I'm not being funny, guys. I blame this on BLM. BLM created a society where we can no longer treat criminals like they're criminals. Instead, we're going to consume ourselves with racism this and white supremacy this and all these things that really and truly are non-existent. Now, the third reason why I wanted to speak about this is because there's zero news coverage. There's zero news coverage. It just makes me sick. It really does make me sick. Because if that was a black person, there would have been so much news coverage. Hate crime this, Black Lives Matter this, protect black lives. But when it comes to white lives, no one cares. No one cares. Even when she's been murdered so senselessly, no one cares. No one's reporting on it. No one's talking about it. I had to go and I found out about this information through Myron Gaines, the guy who owns the I forgot the podcast name, but this is his face. That's how I found that. Not BBC, not Sky News. The reason why they didn't do this is because it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit the narrative that mental illness is mental illness. It doesn't suit the narrative that racism against white people actually exists. I'm not saying this was a hate crime. I don't know if he did this because because she was white.
As I'm doing more research as I'm editing, and it's clear that it was a hate crime because I'm going to show you the clip, and you can hear the man who stabbed the woman basically saying, "I got that white girl, I got that white girl." So this was a clear hate crime, and I find it very interesting that we don't see any media coverage surrounding this hate crime.
Basically just didn't suit the narrative, which is we have a problem when it comes to thuggery, especially within the black community. I'm going to be the first to admit that in the black community, we have a huge, huge, huge pandemic, which is thuggery. A lot of it I blame due to, a lack of fathers in the home, but still, that's not an excuse to be a thug and to be violent and to just go out killing, murdering. It's a huge issue. But they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about Johnny waving his English flag, and they want to talk about Steve waving his American flag rather than the real issues that are going on in these Western countries. The West has fallen and we are entering the dark times. And we are entering the dark ages. Sorry, not the dark times.
Guys, you will never believe. You will never believe it. You generally will never believe it. Because if I didn't show you guys the proof, you guys generally would have thought I was lying. So this man who senselessly and unprovokedly murdered a stranger for no apparent reason, they are setting up a GoFundMe page? Like, what is wrong? What is wrong with the world? What is wrong specifically with African Americans? Because this is the same thing that they done with Austin Metcalf. If you guys are not aware, this young white man, he was also, murdered at a sports game. And they set up a GoFundMe page for this man, and they almost raised $250,000, I believe. Maybe 500,000, I don't remember. But they raised a lot of money. This is a problem when I say we have a thuggery problem. We have a thuggery disease within the black community because there's no way somebody has actually set up a GoFundMe for a demon.
Now, I think the reason why this man did this is because one, he's mentally ill, and two, I think he genuinely wanted to go back to jail because you'll be surprised how many people are so used to jail life and they don't know how to adjust to real life. They don't care to go out and work. They don't care to go out and contribute. They don't care to go out and wake up at 9 a.m. and work as a cleaner or something and earn a couple dollars. So they rather take the easy way out, which is just go to jail. And I'm telling you, people like this actually exist. Do you know how many people I've seen online bragging about the fact that they are so desperate to go back to jail because they get free food and they get free toiletry and they basically get taken care of. Do you get what I mean? Whereas when they come out to the real world, they are responsible for themselves. And I think that's what he done. I may be wrong, but anyways, I just think the story was so tragic. So, so, so tragic. I encourage all women to be alert of all of your surroundings, especially when you're on the train. Don't spend too much time just scrolling through your phone. Look around, be alert. If you see something suspicious, walk the other way. And the story is just tragic. It's really, really tragic. And I just can't believe people like this exist. And I can't believe our government, our establishment, in this case in the USA, just can't differentiate the difference between normal people and mentally ill people. We're just allowing mentally ill people to mix in with normal people. Why? Because Black Lives Matter. Oh, a terrorism lives matter. Oh, you can't call someone a terrorist. You can't call someone a thug. But anyways, guys, if you guys want more videos like this, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.